So walk me through what it looks like for someone trying to find affordable housing right now. Like, why is it so difficult? Like, is there just nowhere to find it?
Live from the lounge, we're talking in real time. New vibes, bold minds, and stories that shine. From chats to laughs, where ideas thrive. So kick back, tune in, we're going live. So kick back, tune in, we're going live.
We are back. Thank you so much for joining us for another episode of Live from the Lounge. We are excited to be here at Ondina in Bellevue's Belle Red district, just steps from the light rail. We are also just in their beautiful lounge today. So we are surrounded with some wonderful people, a wonderful guest to talk about affordability. So Ondina is a location that participates in the ARCH program, which is an affordable housing program here in the King County area. And we're here today with Nick Beller, head of product at Roost Affordable. Hi, Nick.
Hi, how's it going?
Thanks so much for joining us today.
Yeah, of course.
We're excited to have you. For those of us who don't know you or are people listening, who are you? What do you do for Roost?
Yeah, so I'm Nick Beller, head of product at Roost. Roost is a marketplace for renters to shop and qualify for affordable housing. I come from Thrive Communities. I have a background that spans from accounting to systems, but a big part of my background was trying to find problems and looking at ways we can solve those problems with automation or with workflows, or overall looking at end-to-end how people experience different systems and make it as easy as possible for people.
That's awesome. And how did you, affordable housing tech of all places, what brought you there?
Obviously, coming from the Thrive end, I worked at Thrive for over 10 years. So a big part of what I did was looking for ways to make systems more efficient. But Thrive took on some affordable properties a few years ago. And I would say they were anything but efficient in the way that we ran it, quite honestly. And so I think Thrive naturally grew a lot when it came to affordable housing and looked for ways to make affordable housing more accessible, more marketable, and also easier on the back end. And so we realized as we were building this that the need was out there for everyone, not just for Thrive. And so we determined that we wanted to bring our experiences in affordable housing to market as Roost Affordable.
So what problem is Roost solving then?
Right now, affordable housing is a hot topic. There's many sides to affordable housing. Some say it's a supply problem. Others say that it's a finding problem. I think what we have found is that operators don't know quite how to market affordable housing, and renters don't know how to find affordable housing. And there's lots of incentives to build affordable housing and for developers to be involved with it, but it really kind of stops at once the building is built. And at that point, operators have to find a way to market affordable housing, but also to qualify people for affordable housing. And so I think there's a big opportunity here for Roost to be involved in making that easier for everyone.
Yeah. So walk me through what it looks like for someone trying to find affordable housing right now. Like, why is it so difficult? Like, is there just nowhere to find it?
Yeah, it's tough right now because affordable housing, a lot of times not even advertised because it's a little bit of a nuanced situation. People have to qualify in a certain way. The rents are lower on it. And so overqualified people might be inquiring. And so it leads to confusion at the property end. And right now, there's no central place for renters to go find affordable housing. They have to go from property website to property website. A lot of times it'll say call for more details, or it just won't be shown at all. And so it's super time intensive for renters to shop for affordable housing right now.
Yeah, I'd assume people just kind of give up once they get too far. They're like, whatever, I'm going to have to call someone. No, thanks.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think there's a lot of, and I just know from experience being on site previously as well, is there's a lot of information out there, but it's not it's not in a cohesive place. So I know like renters right now can go online to like a city website and find, the information and the income limits and all of that, but it's not really directing you anywhere. So you mentioned a lot of issues with renters finding a place to be able to find affordable housing online. What would you say the industry has maybe done wrong to try to solve the issue that Roost is trying to solve?
The cities out there and the municipalities, the developers, they focus a lot on the program requirements and how can we incentivize development of these properties that have affordable housing? How can we make sure that there's paperwork involved so we're only qualifying the correct people? They've taken those steps, but really when the rubber meets the road, they haven't put as much thought into how do we make these units and properties like publicly available. If you go to a city website right now, you'll see a lot of information about the program, but on their resources page, it's pretty light as far as like, okay, how do I actually find a unit that's available today? And what are the next steps for me as a renter? A lot of that is lost right now, and they rely on the operators like Thrive to, market these units. And I think Thrive does a great job of marketing these units, but every operator does it differently. So I think it's Roost's goal is to make a centralized place where if you are even just interested in an apartment, and maybe you don't even know if you're income qualified, but like you're just interested in finding an affordable apartment, Roost is a place where you can come, you just put in your household size and income, and it's going to show you only the units that you would qualify for. So it's really trying to bring like a market rate renter experience to affordable housing.
Yeah, I'm glad you touched on that because that was my next question of what is that experience like? So if I'm a renter that's looking for affordable housing, what is my prospect journey from the start? Do I start at the city website? Do I start on, ILSs? Like, do I go directly to Roost and search my desired location and my income? What does that look like from start to finish for a renter?
Are you talking like right now or?
Yeah,
okay.
Right now. Yeah.
Yeah. Like most people, I would guess a lot of people start with Google, or maybe, in today's age, they start with ChatGPT or something, but they just want to find an affordable apartment in their area. So I think they would start with Google, and that could bring them maybe to some property websites, could bring them to Zillow or apartments.com or any of the ILSs. From there, you, as an applicant, you would probably try to understand what's available right now. There might be pricing on there. There might not be. I think as a renter, you would try to find something that's available today and just start calling the properties and see what's available. So I think what Roost does is try to make Roost the starting point. We have properties listed on Roost that have live pricing and availability. So there's no question as to whether a unit's available or not, or like what is the rent actually going to be. All of that is out there on Roost, and we try to make things as transparent as possible. So we're making pushes to get Roost to the top of the Google results when someone's searching for affordable housing, to get it embedded into ChatGPT if someone's using that for their housing journey. But we want to make sure that Roost is the place when it comes to finding affordable housing. So we have the Roost Affordable website right now, but we're exploring a lot of different ideas of how we could also utilize what we have at Roost, and how maybe the city of Seattle could use Roost and the database that we have and the technology we have to create like a white labeled portal on City of Seattle's website that they could actually use, as then they can become proficient at marketing these units and have say like, this is where you can come to find these units. It's powered by Roost and it has live pricing and availability.
Yeah, you make a good point actually for live pricing and availability. I think that's really important in housing, just for transparency. I know that right now Roost is connected with Yardi and Rent Cafe, and soon RealPage and Entrada. What does live integration or live availability mean to renters? Why should it matter to them?
I think it matters to renters because by and large, everyone's coming up on the end of their current lease and they need to find a place to live, in the next week, in the next month, whatever it is. But when you don't have live pricing and availability, it's hard to budget for what you're actually going to have to pay. It's hard to know what's available to move into next week. And so it's hard to really plan your life as an affordable renter. And then on top of that, there's just, there's the added qualification process that's part of this. And right now, I think that's a real black box to renters about what's necessary for them when it comes to qualifying for affordable housing. And so I think if we can bring as much of this stuff to light and make it transparent as possible, then it really helps bring everyone on a equal playing field when it comes to finding their next home, just like how we experience market rate housing today.
Yeah. And how do you think this improves things on both then the renter side and the operator side for qualifying? How does it help renters learn to qualify? Can it help the operators make qualifying easier?
Yeah. Our goal with Roost is actually to have Roost be the place where you can go to officially qualify for a program. So we're taking it beyond just finding a home, getting information about pricing and availability. We're taking it to the next step where you can actually, with Roost, qualify for, say, the MFTE or the ARCH program, get all your paperwork done, get all of your bank statements and pay stubs verified, get essentially what we're going to have as a Roost passport that you can then take and shop around to any affordable apartment in the area. And you can know that the income qualification part, that's already done. You're taken care of. You can now just shop for what you want and what your family needs. And so I think we want to get as much of that done on the front end as possible. So then people can know, I can move in next Wednesday. I've done all my paperwork. It's all ready to go. And so Roost is really trying to make that transparent to people.
Yeah. When I was on site, I think that was a major problem with affordable housing. It was very difficult for the operators to qualify someone. I know that they had a lot of steps that they had to go through. So this is really cool that that's something new that can be happening. This episode is sponsored by RentVision. Once your portfolio passes 10 communities, PPC gets hard to manage and results slip. RentVision's predictive advertising identifies at-risk floor plans early and automatically drives high-quality leads across your portfolio. Try RentVision's predictive advertising today at rentvision.com. Get the right leads at the right time automatically. I do have a question. Do you see Roost as a nice to have or a necessity in the industry?
I think it's a necessity. I think there's a real moment happening right now about affordable housing. And I think some people say there's not enough supply. Some people say that we need rent control. I don't know if either of those things are necessarily true. I think it's more of the finding problem that's out there. And I think it's required to have, all of these units that are sitting vacant, quite honestly. And that's not benefiting the operator nor the renter to have these units sitting vacant. Let's bring them to the market, make sure that people are finding these diamonds in the rough and that they're out there and available to people. So I think it's an imperative to have a program like Roost, to have a product like Roost, because it also gives confidence to builders and developers and cities too, that our program is working. These units are being filled. We can continue to build and have these types of affordable homes in our apartment communities and give them the confidence that to keep the economy going as far as affordable housing goes.
Can you talk to us a little bit about how you're maximizing your online visibility with Roost? How are you getting the Roost name out there?
Yeah, it's been a foray into the marketing side of things. And honestly, Jordan's been helping me a ton with it. The world of SEO and pay-per-click and chat GPT and everything now. I've been learning a lot and really diving into things like Google Analytics. But right now we currently have some Google ads running to make sure we're getting Roost out there when people are searching key terms in the Pacific Northwest right now. We are running some TikTok
Yeah.
ads, right, Jordan?
I just started a new TikTok. If you guys want to go follow, it's at Roost.Affordable. So that's been super fun. We have TikTok and Instagram, and I've been creating some fun ads. And so that's definitely something different. And then I've also just been really trying to make sure that the online presence is strong, because if you're just scrolling on your phone and you run across an ad, then it can bring you to the Roost Affordable website. So I think that's really important, especially in this day and age, to have the presence on social media, because I think that's where a lot of renters are looking right now.
Like I said, it's all a little bit newer to me, but it's really fun to dive into what's driving traffic to the sites, what engages with people. I have started a blog on the Roost Affordable site just to help answer a lot of these things, like what is MFTE, what is AMI, just like different kind of acronyms and knowledge about the programs that's out there. I'm trying to just like bring that knowledge to the table and have that be available as a resource. And then on top of that, as people learn about these different things, they can then use Roost as a resource to find their next home.
Yeah. When you're an expert in what you're talking about, I think sometimes, and I'm guilty of it too. I was talking with someone the other day and I was saying all these acronyms like MFTE and SEO, and the person stopped me and was like, wait, can you explain what all of these things are? So I can only imagine from the renter's perspective, you don't know a lot of these words and jargon. That's the word that they use for me, is like, they were like, I don't know all of this. You're speaking another language. It's like a different jargon. Did you just make that up? And so when you know what you're talking about, I think sometimes that's the point, right? Is trying to have people understand, what is it? Why should I care about it? How does it matter to me? And then, like, to Jordan's point, getting that visibility out there of the consistency of like the brand and what it is. I know, like, I've been targeted for Roost ads. I actually I did have a Roost ad populate on my TikTok feed.
It's working.
Yesterday, I think, which is funny.
Yeah, it popped up on my husband's page too. He was like, oh.
Yeah, so it definitely works. And I think, like, if you're able to, kind of track what, whether it's the demographic or just the area, the location that people are looking, then that's how you find the need, right? That's how you know that the need is there to solve.
And you bring something up too that, there's jargon in the industry for affordable housing, and we make that available if people want to learn about it. But also at Roost, like, all you have to do is bring your household size and your estimated income, and Roost is going to do the rest as far as finding units that you qualify for. So it's like these programs are as complex as we want to make them out to be, but there's so much that we can be doing to help facilitate it for the renters, to just make it as frictionless as possible and just put it out in plain terms, like what is available to them based off their household.
Yeah. What I hear too is you're doing the hard part for both sides. You're doing the hard part for the renters and finding a solid location to find the information that benefits them in their housing journey, but you're also removing the heavy lifting from the operator side, because I know that's a difficult part too. And just from my experience, when you have all of these affordable programs and all of their different qualifications, it's really on the operators to then have to teach and educate their teams to be able to qualify renters. And I could see how that could be a tension point between renters and operators and the people that are on site and having to help qualify, because that's all new to them too. And there's various rules and qualifications that are constantly changing. I remember from my time on site, and you're not always privy to those because they can change in an instant. And so to be able to kind of lift that frustration from both sides, I think then creates a better, not just like experience, but I think that customer service aspect too, right? So you're relieving the operators, the on-site teams from having that built up capacity of like having to go through all of their financial, it gets really personal. It's a personal journey.
And I think, leasing agents should be focusing on closing and creating community experiences, and to ask them to also do, what can sometimes be some pretty intensive like paperwork and, scanning of pay stubs and bank statements. It's traditionally a very time intensive task. And people can do their best on it, but when it's just like an add-on to your job, I think there's the tendency for delays or mistakes to be made. And so we've learned some lessons, I think, at Thrive for sure, but also just found like there's a better way to get people through the journey than like asking them to fill out like a 8-page PDF. Like we can make it like an online form and make it super easy for them to invite household members to fill out their information, quickly upload pay stubs, get through it in a matter of minutes rather than a matter of days of back and forth with the properties.
Yeah. So where do you think Roost will be a year from now?
I think a year from now, I think Roost will be the number one site you see when you search affordable housing in Seattle. I think it's
Heard it here first.
Yeah.
It's going to be the starting point for renters on their journey. I think we're going to be completely end to end. I think every property benefits from being on Roost. There's something called the network effect, which it's if you can think about it like Facebook, like if only 10% of your friends are on Facebook, like there's not as much incentive for you to be on Facebook. But if 100% of your friends are on Facebook and you get everyone interacting with each other, like that drives traffic to Facebook. And so I think the network effect for Roost is if every property is listed on Roost, it becomes the default, and it becomes the default for operators too. Like they want to be listed on Roost because they know that's where people are going. And so we want to be getting all affordable housing onto Roost. We want to partner with cities to, like I was saying earlier, have a powered by Roost embedded search flow on the resources page for their websites. We want to make the data that we have as transparent as possible and really make sure that people know that they have a home with Roost.
Well, this is a cheesy take, but you mentioned something and it made me think that is why we're here today. Is it all comes back to community, the communities that Roost serves, the communities that, we serve in our day to day. It's why we're here today in the lounge at Ondina. This is where people gather and they talk about important things and the needs and necessities in order to be able to do what we do every day is housing, right? So I think you're doing a really great thing, a really great effort to make affordable housing accessible. I'm really happy to have been able to have this conversation today.
Yeah.
I've learned a lot.
Yeah. So if someone was listening right now, struggling to find housing, what would you want them to know?
I'd say, well, you're not alone. You're not the first to struggle with it. Just an anecdote, I've seen renters who, and this is pre-Roost, I've seen renters who have actually given up on the affordable housing process and just end up choosing a more expensive market rate home because they get so frustrated with the process and they aren't getting their questions answered or it's taking too long. And to me, that is like the number one goal I want to solve is like knowing that if you come to Roost, like we can solve all of the qualification for you on the front end and make it as transparent as possible. And I think just like knowing that when you come to Roost, like your questions will be answered and you'll have the transparency that you need.
Yeah. So moral of the story, if you need help with affordable housing, go check out roostaffordable.com.
Right.
Go follow us on TikTok and Instagram if you need any more information.
Search for us. Go on ChatGPT. Like, let's get some.
I'm going to do that after this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you so much, Nick, for joining. It was so fun to talk to you. And I just want to make sure everyone makes sure to tune in to Live from the Lounge wherever you listen to your podcasts. So Spotify, Apple Music, YouTube, and we'll see you next time.
We'll see you next time.
Bye.
Tune in, we're going live, so kick back.